Okay, so on this part you have you set up your Excel document and saved it with the correct file name. You've got your acid and base entered, and I'm going to work through this example. So you click on the link to the interactive, and then you'll be able to select the different types of things. So I said that from reaction number 7 is the same for everybody. So it's a weak acid acetic reacting with strontium hydroxide. So you're going to select that over here. So you would select weak acid, strong base, fill the burette with acid, and select the acetic with the strontium hydroxide, and you can click that, and then you'll have some information for the reaction 7 part that you can enter. So I'm just going to scroll back through on my Excel document till I get to reaction number 7 that I've already entered that information. So I have this opened up and I'm looking at this. I have some given information at the bottom. This will change every single time you do a reaction. So if you click reset, it's going to change that number. The volume will still be the same, but it's going to change the concentration of the base every time. So you'll want to select your indicator. I picked methyl red because it's yellow in a base and it turns red when the endpoint comes. So I'm going to type in for indicator used. I'll just type in methyl red. And I don't care which one you use. You can use bromothymol blue, and it's not going to matter to me. Just write down type in which one you use. The concentration of the base is given in molarity, so you'll need to type that into your Excel spreadsheet as 0.1717. The volume of the base is given also, and it's 25.00 milliliters. That's needs to be changed to liters, so put 0.025. Really, there's 4 sig figs. Excel, you might have to adjust your decimals using your number part up there, but adjust it to where it has its 4 sig figs. Then the moles of base to be titrated, that part you have to calculate for it to be there. There's a sample calculation down here at the bottom. To get that, you multiply the volume of the base that you have in liters times the concentration of the base in molarity, or moles per liter. So in Excel, if you already have those entered, your concentration and your volume, you can just type in equals and then click the cell for the concentration, a little asterisk for times, click the cell for volume in liters, hit enter, and then again format that to you have 4 sig figs. So you'll have that part. Now the volume of acid needed to titrate the base, that's what you have to get when you do the total volume of acid. And for this particular reaction, you want to add this from the burette right here, which has filled it up for me with acid to 50 milliliters. And then you have your Erlenmeyer flask down here with a little stir bar going around to keep it stirred. Your indicator's in there, and you just need to start adding the acid to it. So you can add amounts of acid at a certain amount at a time, or you can add it dropwise. Once you figure out what the endpoint is, if you say you go in here and you put in 16.5 and nothing changed, okay, then you can add some more. But let's just say you go to 43.5 and it changes, right? Well, you overshot it, so you don't want to do that. So if that happens and you overshoot it, you just click concordant values right there. Exact values goes back. You still have your same concentration and amount of base with your indicator. If you click reset, you're going to have to start all over. So that's fine if you want to do that, but you'll have to adjust your spreadsheet accordingly. So anyway, so I did notice that when I could put in a certain amount, and then it didn't change anything. Then I could start going drop wise, and it might save you a little bit of time. I'll even pause my recording for a second, and I'll get close to the end point, and then I will continue with that. Okay, so now I'm pretty close. I can start drop wise adding, watching the color at the bottom down here. Okay, so I reached my end point. So now I have the volume right here in milliliters of acid that I use, the total volume. I need to convert that to liters, and I need to put that in my spreadsheet. So that 0.03916 in liters. So I put that in there. Okay, and then the next little part I have to fill out, from my balanced chemical equation, I need a mole ratio for moles of acid to moles of base. So you have to make sure you balance your equation correctly. This one is balanced correctly, and this ratio is 2 moles of acid to 1 mole of base. So I need to type in a 2 right there. Sometimes it's a 1-to-1 mole ratio, and you just type in a 1. But to make your Excel do your calculations, you're going to have to enter a value in there, 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever it might be. So you need to enter the correct moles of acid per 1 mole of base from your balanced equation. Then you have how many moles of acid to titrate the base. Well, your moles of acid is 2-to-1 what your moles of base was. So you multiply the mole ratio by the moles of base to be titrated, and that calculation is right here. The moles of acid used to titrate the base equals the moles of base times the mole ratio, where X is the moles of acid over Y moles of base. So they're just, the X and Y are the coefficients. So here you had 2 moles of acid and 1 mole of base for your part here. So you're going to multiply the number of moles that you had times 2. So this, in this cell for moles of acid, to titrate the base, you type equals, well, it's your moles of base, click in that cell, times your mole ratio, enter. And then you have to calculate the concentration of acid. So that calculation is the amount of acid used in moles divided by the volume of the acid used in liters. That's moles divided by liters, or molarity. So molar concentration, this equals the moles of acid, so that cell, divided by the volume in liters of acid, enter. And then you just need to format that number, round it to 4 significant figures. So it looks like 4 significant figures is 0.2192. You can check that by going to your little interactive and typing in 0.2192 molar and click OK, and it tells you if it's right or not. So that says correct. So then I just need to, over here in this cell, I need to just go ahead and format that with my number here to be 4 decimal places, or 4 sig figs. And there's my concentration, my molar concentration. And then to move on to the next one, the next reaction, you just make sure you save that on your document, your Excel document. But when you go, you want to change to a totally different thing, you just click the reset button, and it gives you all new stuff. So then you can do strong acid, strong base, fill the burette with acid. Again, do the acid every time, and then you could pick HCl and NaOH, if that was one you're doing. So it gives you the concentration here. You'll notice, if you hit reset, it changes, totally makes you start over. So if you goof up on your, overshoot your endpoint, use the concordant values to go back to the exact values that it was. So again, you can change indicators. I don't care which one you use, just make sure you're